All right, y'all. So this is episode numero uno, okay? And I really just wanted it to be an introduction so you can understand who the fuck is that. Y'all remember that T-Pain song? Okay. So I just really feel like a lot of times people get their podcast going and, no shade to anybody that does this, but they just dive right into it, and that's great and that's dandy, but it's also like, who the hell is this person? You may find me on my Instagram and then travel over to my podcast, but if you're finding me on my podcast for the first time, you don't really know who I am. So again, I am ChiAurelia Spencer, and I'm a goddess walking in my own divine light, right? We all have our path that we're on, and I'm on mine, enjoying the fuck out of it at that, okay? So I'm one of those people where people be going through shit, and they be like, let me call Chi. Let me ask Chi. Chi gonna have the answer. Chi gonna be able to walk me through it, and that's very true. I am the person that usually has that great ass advice that can help you get through or understand your situation better. And it dawned on me that while I'm answering the question for this one individual person, there are so many other people that are probably experiencing the same thing, or they are in the same boat but don't really have the guts to ask or don't know who to go to ask. So instead of me just giving that question to that one person, I want to be able to share that knowledge with everyone, because what good does it do me to sit on these gems if I'm not willing to give them out to, the people of the world? God didn't give us all these experiences and these gifts and these tools and these resources to just hone on them ourselves. So I'm not going to be selfish. I am here to give to others because someone has given to me. And that is why we are here. So, a little bit about moi. I am 30-something years young. I'm 33, y'all. 89 in the house, okay? I'm born and raised in the Bay Area, East Oakland to be exact. In the words of Too Short, you don't want to be like me. I come from East Oakland where the youngsters get high feet. Blow it. Blow the whistle. I am, as you can see, the person that always had music is my love language. Some people like, words of affirmation and affection and all. I like all of that stuff too, all of them. But music, if you know me, I will bust out into a song mid-conversation. I might just randomly send you a song because something about the song made me think of you. It's always been music for me, and that's probably because growing up, my dad played a lot of music. I remember looking at the end of the trumpet as he blew through it, and I'm just really trying to figure out, like, where is this sound coming from? It's this dark tunnel with nothing, but he's making all of this noise, and it was music to my ears, literally. My father played the trumpet, the bass guitar, the drums, probably the piano, a whole bunch of other things. And along my own journey, I ended up playing the flute, the clarinet, the acoustic guitar, and I battled with the piano. I couldn't really get into it. I think I was just too dyslexic, and I didn't have the time to figure that shit out. So here we are, and I am still a music lover. Okay, so growing up, my dad actually, Papa was a rolling stone, 18 children in total, okay? 18 children in total. Not all of us have the same mom. I was blessed to have my father and my mother in the same home. I also have a younger brother. I'm very in tune with the other side of my family. I try to be like more involved, if that's the right word, but just trying to keep that relationship going, because it's a blessing to have so many siblings. It's crazy because some of my siblings are the same age as my own mama, but we ain't gonna, that's another topic for another episode. But just a little more about me. I was born and raised in the Bay Area. I do have 17 siblings altogether. I'm the baby girl, but I also have a baby brother, so I'm kind of the older sibling for our household, but I'm also the middle child. So yeah, I went to Skyline High School, class of 07, SKYLINE. If you know, you know. I graduated and went to Langston University, but it was very much like a party school. I mean, don't get me wrong, I didn't fail, but I also knew that if I wanted to succeed, I was gonna have to go somewhere else. Kind of like with the Three Bears, They left. Did the Bears leave? Or the people left? somebody came in and they was all messing around like, oh, this one's too hot, this one's too cold, this one's not, it's just right. I went to Langston, it was too much. I went to Wiley College, it was just right. And that is where I stayed, and I studied sociology, psychology, pledged Delta Sigma Theta. I also had my daughter in my later years of being in Marshall, Texas. That was interesting within itself. I was 22 when I had her, very young, some would say, not necessarily teen pregnant, but still, like, you don't know who the hell you are at 22. Some shit popped off, kind of got into a DV situation, made my way back to California, and I still had a passion for people, which is what made me study sociology and psychology to begin with. And I wanted to take that passion even further and get into trying to see, like, how can I service my community? And one of the things that was really important to me was to be able to work for the social services agency. So here I am on food stamps and welfare and all of these things, single parent, trying to figure it out. And one of the job developers that I had, which is kind of not a caseworker, but someone who helps you to become self-sufficient, she kept trying to feed me like, okay, Jamba Juice is hiring, Ross is hiring. And I was like, yeah, Miss Cranston, like, that's cool, but I want to do what you do. Put me on how did you I'm trying to put my foot in the dough. Help a sister out. And they actually created a pilot program, which was a blessing. It's called the CalWorks Public Service Trainee Program. And it is ran by a very beautiful, dynamic woman by the name of Miss Bashir. And it really just, they give you that knowledge of the office culture, how to work Windows Suite, email etiquette, phone etiquette, and then they also get into what are your specific interests. And that's how I was paired up with my internship. I worked for the Board of Supervisors in District 4, which covered like East Oakland, San Leandro, Pleasanton, Dublin, Livermore, unincorporated areas of Hayward. And that taught me like really how things work from the top up. Like, you got these 5 big wigs who run the whole county, and what they say goes. What they want to implement will come to life. The problem with that for me is I hate politics. Like, I feel like people need help right here, right now, not something that's gonna take 3 years to put into place. But that's the way that things work. So y'all do y'all thing on the big level. I want to go down to where the people actually need help. And I was offered a full-time position with the Board of Supervisors, but I was like, yeah, y'all can have that. I'm cool. I'm gonna be an eligibility service technician, and that's what I did. I was an EST for about 3 years, working in the Children and Family Services Agency. A lot of reviewing of court documents just to see like what is the situation that took place that allowed these children to have to be put into protective custody? Are they going to a foster home? Are they going to be able to go to an adoptive family? Are they going into a group home? Are they, in that age where they can transition and now they can have their own food stamp case? And, how can we help them or help the family to help this child that they have volunteered to take in? Shout out to anybody who's a caretaker of somebody that's not there. Shout out to the caretakers of people who are there, okay? Because it's hard out here. It's hard out here for a pimp, okay? Taking care of kids is hard. It's the one job where it's like you never get to clock out. Even on the weekends, you don't. We gonna get into it though. Shout out to y'all. So that working there, there really wasn't any room to move up, and I'm all about elevation. You can't keep me in the same position too long because it just gets boring. So I was ready to move forward with something else, and I ended up becoming an employment counselor with the Workforce Benefits Administration, which basically helps people who are receiving some sort of cash assistance, whether that's TANF or what is the other name for it? AFDC. You're receiving that, and so the goal is to help you become self-sufficient, because while your child may get welfare for 18 years, you don't. In the state of California, it was a 4-year max. What you're doing within this 4 years, that's going to really get you to where you want to be. And so that was my job, is really speaking life into my clients and seeing like, yeah, you got an interview, okay, here's some money to get some interview clothes, here's some money for the transportation, here's some money for some diapers. But really, what is it that we can do to help you change your mindset to really understand, like, being on welfare is a stepping stone to the greater version of yourself. It is not something, although some people do make a lifetime career out of it, it's not something that you have to look down on yourself for or that you should beat yourself up about. It's a stepping stone. So getting here and use every resource that's available. I was doing everything that I could. Listen, you need a laptop, the money is on your EBT card, okay? Like, within the range of not violating my own position that I was in, I was the type of person to go above and beyond, because I really felt like that's what sometimes people need. They need somebody to believe in them, to show them, like, hey, your next opportunity is right on the other side of the door that you're too scared to knock on. But let me give you the courage to knock on that door. Beat that motherfucker down, you know? Go get what is rightfully yours. It's already written in God's will for you to be successful. You just got to figure out how to do it, how to get, what do those steps look like for you? Because what's successful to me may not be successful to someone else, but that doesn't mean that we both can't be successful. Y'all, did I feel me? So I spent about 3 years being an employment counselor, and I really was passionate about helping people, but I also would get the side eye, like, why are you doing so much? Like, that's you doing too much, and now people expect us to do great service when we really just want to sit here and be mediocre. And I'm like, it sucks to be you. There ain't nothing about me basic or mediocre, so let me do me. And then it really just became frustrating. So I took a leave of absence and I started trying to figure out, like, how can I do this for myself in a way that I can still serve my community, but not have to listen to people tell me to dumb myself down. Because that's one thing Chi not finna do, is dumb herself down. You can move around. Do you feel me? So that's where I really became creative within my own desires of helping, and created the Transformative Mindset community, which is really a place for the Black millennial mother to come and transform her mindset, see how she can step into her elevation and what that looks like for her. And that was really a lot of my clientele. Don't get me wrong, there are single fathers that are in the welfare system or do have sole custody of their children, but a lot of the people that I spoke to were women of color who were single mothers for one reason or another, whether that man was in jail or locked up or he just wasn't involved. A lot of times the weight of raising these kids falls on us, and so we need to be able to make sure that we're solid as an individual, because before I am your mother, I am a motherfucking human being. How do I make sure that I'm straight as an individual and make sure that I am showing up as the best version of myself so that I can be the best parent for you? And you know, who knows, you being the best mother for them may get you a little bit of help. They can fuck around and have a stepdaddy and you can have a whole husband. That is not my story at this time. I am single, you know, ready to mingle. Hey, how you doing? So yeah, but I'm just saying, like, that you have to be willing to recreate who you are. If you see that the version that you are in right now, it's either like you're tired of it and you're ready for something new. Okay, well, how do you create what it is that you want to step into? You have to visualize that, and then you have to make it happen. And it sounds a lot easier than it is to do, which is why I'm here to provide the resources and the things that I have been able to use for myself, because that was where I was once at. I was in the mindset of, like, I don't like who I am right now. I feel like this is outdated. I'm ready for something new, and I created this blueprint and I followed it, and that is how you see the version of me that you see now. And regardless of when you see this, it may be 10 years from now and I'm 43, I'm gonna be a whole new version, because yes, that is you know, that's kind of what I've been into for the last 2 years. I did end up retiring from the social services agency after putting in a good 8 years of service. I felt like, even though this is something that I had desired to do, like, that was my dream job. I remember being in high school and the English teacher was like, what do you want to do? Where do you see yourself? And it's like, I'm going to go to college and I'm going to study this, and then I'm going to go work for social services. And I did that. And I thought that I was going to be there until I was like, you know, 63, whatever, retire and then go live my life. But it was like, nah, I done did what I needed to do. And I feel like it's okay to detach and move on and find something that suits me better, because who I was when I created that desire and that dream at 17 years old is not who I am now. And it's okay to say, I came, I saw, I conquered, and I'm ready for the next adventure. You just have to be mindful and be prayerful and be intentional about what direction it is you want to go in. Something else I'm really passionate about is mentoring melanated youth between the age of 10 and 17, specifically young girls, because I just remember being in this kind of weird space of feeling isolated, like I couldn't really talk to my mom. I was getting my information from the streets, but that wasn't really creditable information either. And just really feeling like this lack of love and this lack of guidance in terms of molding myself into who I wanted to be as an adolescent, as a teenager. You know, that's the time where we're kind of getting in touch with our hormones and we're trying to figure out, who the fuck are we? Why the hell am I here? And what is the purpose of life? So that's really important to me, because I feel like if we can cultivate a very rich soiled environment, then these little delicate daisies that we know as our daughters, they can come up as fully blossomed and bloomed young ladies, and they're not still trying to figure it out at 21. If we can give them the resources that they need now to get further into who they are, what they like, what they don't like, what other options are out there for them to even divulge into, to see what they like that's really, really, really a passion of mine. And so that's another thing that I'm going to be doing with the TMC Transformative Mindset community, is just being able to provide not only the mothers but the daughters with resources too, because a lot of times our daughters get sick of hearing our shit. They do. I hate to bring it to you, mama, but they do. Because it's like the Charlie Brown situation. When you hear the same voice all the time, it's like wah, 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 wah. But when you put them in places where they're able to get the same thing you trying to tell them, can come from a mentor, it could come from an auntie, it could come from the big cousin. And it's like, oh, well, auntie so-and-so said blah, blah, blah. And that just really touched me. And it's like, I told you the same damn thing. It doesn't matter who they got the message from, as long as they got the message. So I am here. A lot of times people would ask me, like, oh, your daughter's 11. Is she lonely? Do you plan on having more kids? Listen, we all gonna have to come to God and pray on that, because I don't know. But I also feel like me having one child versus me being able to mentor and pour into 300, 3,000, 30,000 different young ladies, that is what would really put a smile in my heart, or give me like the knowing that I am really walking in my divine purpose, is because there are so many young ladies out there who need like just guidance and mentorship, and to understand like you're not the only one going through this. I once was a young black girl at 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 years old trying to figure it out. I came out pretty well. If you ask me, pat myself on the back. But it's also like it took a long time for me to figure out. I was 23 still trying to figure out, 25 still trying to figure it out, 27 still trying to figure out. Truth be told, at 32, there are some things that we still may be trying to figure out. But at 32, I know a whole lot more now than I did at 16, 17. So let me give you the game. Let me give these gems to you, so you don't have to sit here walking around in circles, making all these U-turns, going down the wrong path, because there's nobody there to guide you. So if you know someone, a young lady who may be able to benefit from that, TMC is right here on YouTube. It is free to you. It is free to you. Will we be having events live and in person? Yes, we will. But right now, just come get these free gems, because I guarantee you, every time you watch one of these Ask Cheese, you're going to learn something. You're going to walk away fulfilled with something. So get your notepads out. Get your, you can put the little video in the corner now. Open up your notes, take down some notes. Feel free to hit me up on Instagram. I'm very open to speaking to people. Like I said, if there's anything that you feel like you may want to have asked yourself, drop it in the DM. Submit the link to actually filling out what topic you would like to see within the link tree. Like, there are so many ways that I am here to be beneficial to you. Don't sit here and and look at this resource that God is trying to give you and not use it. Allow me to be a tool in your toolbox. And I'm talking to the mamas, I'm talking to the daughters. If you are still watching this video by now, that's because something is intriguing you to want to stay connected. Do not allow me to be a tool in your toolbox that you never use. I am here. What artist is that? He be like, use me until you use me up. Bill Withers, get into it. So yes.